I reached to hug my wife. She pulled away. "Don't touch me," she said sharply, not even looking at me. "I'm not in the mood to play wife tonight." Her voice wasn't angry. It was indifferent, and somehow that was worse. For a moment I just stood there, my arms half raised, like a fool about to embrace a ghost. The kitchen light hummed above us, filling the silence she'd left hanging in the air. Maya brushed past me, grabbed her phone from the counter, and walked into the hallway, still without a single glance in my direction. The door to our bedroom clicked shut. That sound, it felt like something breaking inside me. The distance. For weeks, maybe months, I'd felt it happening, slowly, subtly. Shift. Turning away. Small things at first. Shorter conversations. Colder goodbyes. A strange new protectiveness over her phone. More late nights at work. That didn't make sense for someone in her department. But denial is a gentle liar. You convince yourself you're imagining it. That love is just going through a rough patch. That marriage is supposed to be tested. And so you wait, hoping things will magically fix themselves. I'd been hoping for a long time. And yet, tonight, her words, her tone, felt final in a way nothing had been before. Like she'd said out loud something she'd been silently rehearsing for weeks. I went to the living room and sat on the edge of the couch, my hands clasped so tightly my knuckles had gone white. The house was quiet, but not peaceful. It was the quiet you find outside a hospital room, or in the seconds before you hear the results you've been dreading. I stared at the closed bedroom door. Was this how a marriage ends? Not in a fight, not in screaming, but in emotional silence and a single, careless sentence. The messages. It was nearly 2 in the morning when I finally walked toward the bedroom. The door wasn't fully closed, just pushed till it almost clicked. I stopped and listened. I expected to hear her breathing rhythmically, asleep. But instead, I heard a soft vibration. Her phone. Then another. And another. 3 messages. In less than 10 seconds. Maya was a heavy sleeper. Once she knocked out, the world could crumble around her and she wouldn't notice. So when I stepped inside, she didn't stir. Her phone lay on the nightstand, its screen lighting up the dark room with each buzz. I knew it was wrong to pick it up. I knew it. But if you've ever loved someone while drowning in doubt, you understand. It isn't curiosity. It isn't control. It's desperation. Needing the truth because your heart can't take another night of confusion. The screen lit up again. A preview flashed. Can't stop thinking about earlier. When can I see you again? My chest tightened. Suddenly, breathing felt optional. Picked up the phone. Her notifications opened without a passcode. My wife, careful, reserved, private, hadn't enabled one. A cruel kind of irony. The messages were from a contact saved under a single letter. R. Another message appeared while the screen was in my hand. Did he suspect anything tonight? I felt the room tilt. Every message was a knife. Every word a cut. I scrolled up. And then I saw it. Voice notes, photos, texts filled with affection, with longing, messages that used to come to me, back when our marriage was alive. There were messages from that very evening, minutes before she came home. I wish I was coming home to you instead. Soon, he had replied. Just give it time. My hands trembled. The phone felt heavier than metal. I wanted to wake her, shake her, demand answers, ask what I had done wrong, what part of me had failed, why I wasn't enough. Instead, I set the phone down gently, almost respectfully, as if it were something sacred rather than the thing that had just shattered me. I walked out of the room. And I didn't sleep at all. The truth behind the door. Morning light seeped into the living room as I sat there, half dead inside. Maya came in, her hair messy from sleep, wearing one of my shirts, something she hadn't done in months. For a moment, she looked like the woman I married. The woman who once loved me so openly it made my chest ache with gratitude. Then she saw me, and the warmth disappeared. Her eyes narrowed, cautious. Why are you up this early? You got some messages last night, I said quietly. Her face changed. Just slightly, but enough. fear, guilt, panic. Emotions you can't hide, no matter how strong you pretend to be. She tried to brush past me toward the coffee machine. Why were you near my phone? It wouldn't stop buzzing, I replied. My voice felt foreign, steady, hollow. I saw the notifications. She froze. The silence that followed had weight, thickness, like it filled every corner of the room, pressing against my chest. Finally, she said, "You shouldn't have gone through my phone. And you shouldn't have given someone else the parts of you that used to be mine." Her breath caught. For the first time in months, she really looked at me. For her confession. "Nothing happened," she said too quickly. "Don't lie." She swallowed. It wasn't supposed to go this far." "What went far, Maya?" She closed her eyes. "It was just talking. I needed someone to talk to. Someone who listened." My voice cracked despite everything. "I listen." "No," she whispered. "You try. But you don't see me anymore." That stunned me. "I haven't changed," I said. "Yes, you have," she replied, sounding small and tired. "You've been distant. You've been buried in work. You've been stressed and tired and absent." I shook my head. "I was working for us. For our future." "I didn't need a future," she said. "I needed you. Here. Present." Her voice broke. I didn't know whether to comfort her or fall apart myself. "And him?" Yes. "Is he what you needed?" She didn't answer. Her silence was a blade, sharp and honest. 5. The other man. "What is he to you, Maya?" Her voice trembled. "A mistake." "That's not an answer." She sank into a chair, elbows on her knees, hands covering her face. "We met at the gym months ago," she confessed. "It was harmless at first. Just small talks, jokes, and I don't know. Felt like he saw me. The way you used to." A tear slid down her cheek. Mine too, though I didn't let her see it. "Did you love him?" I whispered. "No," she said instantly. Then softer. "At least, I don't think I did." I had never heard a more devastating sentence. 6. The breaking point. The sun climbed higher. Hours passed. Talk. We argued. She cried. I listened. She defended herself. Questioned everything. She apologized. I bled silently. But nothing she could say erased the messages. The secrecy. The emotional intimacy she shared with another man. The kind that destroyed marriages more effectively than physical betrayal. Finally, she said the words that cut deepest. "I didn't mean to hurt you. I just didn't know how to tell you I wasn't happy." I nodded slowly. "So you told him instead." She looked down. There it was. Our marriage laid bare, broken on the table between us. 7. The choice. Around evening, she asked, barely audible, "Can we fix this?" I stared at her. At the woman I had loved for 10 years. At the woman who had once been my home. Part of me wanted to say yes. Wanted to forgive her, hold her, fight for what we'd built brick by brick. But the other part, the wounded, trembling, painfully honest part, knew something had changed forever. Trust isn't a switch you flip back on. It's a bridge. And some bridges, once burned, don't get rebuilt. "I don't know," I said honestly. She stood up, walked to me slowly, cautiously, almost like she was approaching a stranger. When she reached out to touch my arm, I flinched. Her hand fell. And in that moment I knew. She felt the shift too. The ending. That night I packed a bag. Maya didn't stop me. She didn't plead. She didn't break down the way I expected. She just stood in the hallway, tears streaming silently, hands shaking at her sides. When I reached the door, she whispered, "Please come back." I hesitated. Then I said the truest words I had spoken all day. "I don't know who I'd be coming back to." And I walked out. 9. Aftermath. I drove for hours without a destination. Just the road, the hum of the engine, and the heavy ache of betrayal sitting in the passenger seat beside me. At a gas station miles from home, I finally stopped, turned off the engine, leaned back in the seat, and cried. Not because I'd lost her, but because she'd been gone long before I realized it. Ken, the last message. Later that night my phone buzzed. A message from Maya. I'm sorry. For everything. I don't expect forgiveness. But I hope someday you find someone who never pulls away when you reach for them. I stared at the message until the screen dimmed. Then I put the phone down. And finally, after months of doubt, weeks of distance, and one brutal night of truth, I let her go.